These are the big things, the big questions. And this is the sort of stuff that we all end up pondering out here while we're in the woods by ourselves. You know, questions like, what is the meaning of existence? And why are we here? Today I had an epiphany. And I think that at long last, I can answer one of these big questions that has plagued humanity since the dawn of our existence. Does a bear really in the woods? Not every landscape holds the same aesthetic beauty as places like Alaska or Montana. Sometimes it's all a bit more subtle. Sometimes we have to look closer, to slow down before we can see the beauty of a place. Out here, in this world of pines and swamps and marsh, that beauty is all a bit more nuanced. But if you look, it will reveal itself to you. What's up, guys? I'm Lloyd, and I'm on the coastal plain of North Carolina right now. I'm out here looking for black bears and tundra swans. This is probably the coolest area you've never heard of before. It's what's known as the Albemarle Pamlico Peninsula. To the north is the Albemarle Sound. To the south is the Pamlico Sound. This actually makes up the second largest estuary in North America here. And the whole place plays home to an incredible diversity of wildlife. You know, one of the unique things about these black bears that live along this coastal plain of North Carolina is they're also the largest black bears on the planet. I live out in Yellowstone, and I've never seen a grizzly that's more than 500 pounds out there. Most sows you'll find about 350 pounds. Most boars, that's the males, maybe 500 tops. But here, we routinely find black bears over 600 and 700 pounds. In fact, the world record is over 800 pounds. These guys are enormous. And one of the reasons for that is the fact that they don't actually have to hibernate here. So these bears are awake and eating year-round. There's just that much food in this area. And that's really what hibernation is all about for bears anyway. It's all about food. And so out west, up in the mountains, in Alaska, places where there are real winters, eventually they lose access to that food. But out here, there's so many resources for these bears. They're able to stay awake all year long and just keep eating and eating and eating. So it's always fun when you're walking through dense underbrush that you can't really see more than 10 feet around you, and suddenly you hear something very large, probably significantly bigger than you are, take off through that stuff. So yesterday, driving around, the whole point was ultimately to try and find key locations that these bears were moving in and out of the swamps at. Come this time of year, typically we expect that the bears have moved away from the agricultural areas and deeper into the Pocosin swamps. But the search turned up that the bears were still concentrating very heavily on these agricultural areas. This corn out here, I mean, it's a major food source for these bears, and it's one of the reasons that these guys get so large. They're literally corn-fed bears, if you will. And so this morning, what I did is about an hour and a half before sunrise, I moved in along the edge of this field to two key bear trails that I had located yesterday. And I just kind of backed myself up against the woods, set myself up next to a tree in between those two trails, and just waited. And it probably only took 30 to 45 minutes before activity started to unfold in front of me. Okay guys, so hands down, you've really got to get over this whole idea that you can't shoot with high ISOs. Most modern day cameras today are easily going to handle 6400. So that situation that I had today out in the field with that black bear this morning, I was shooting that at 8000. There is no reason that a full frame camera made within the last 5 years can't handle that. The key here is just ultimately understanding noise is primarily an issue with a lack of information. And when you underexpose just even a little bit, you're starting to introduce noise into your photographs. The smart thing would probably be to hire somebody to film this for me. I can only imagine what that ad would look like. Low wages, dangerous working conditions, maybe eaten by a bear. Oh man, I would have jumped all over that when I was 20. When I think of this place, I think of abundance. I think of the largest concentration of black bears and the very last red wolves in the world. I think of geese and swans and towering cypress trees and impenetrable swamps. Ecologically, there's no good reason for this place to be special. This is no Everglades. It's no Smoky Mountains. The uniqueness of this peninsula is only that we once saw no value in it, and so progress passed it by. This place gives me hope. Life and all of its beauty needs only for us to get out of its way sometimes, to just give it some room. If an obscure backwater like this can hold such an abundance of life simply because it was overlooked, can you imagine the possibilities if we actually tried?